So I realized the other day that it's actually been quite a while since I shared with you all some of my favorite cream shadows that are affordable. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you all a selection of my really lovely, some matte, some really wet and glossy looking cream eyeshadows. And all of these are quite affordable. I'm also going to do like a slight declutter here as well. So I thought I would also share those shades within some of these lines that I actually don't think are great. I wanted to start off with these eyeshadows from Ulta. So let's first start off with the Ulta Bouncy Cream eyeshadows. I love these, and I actually decided to pick these up because Ulta did give them a little makeover, and I wanted to see if they would still be essentially the same formula. Now, the good news is that I do think that they are the same formula. And I have two shades. I have the buttercream shade as well as the Italian ice shade. And this shade, Italian ice, has actually been a favorite on my channel for years. And I'm sure some of you that have watched me for a long time know this eyeshadow. But you can see here, you see how it has that like bouncy texture to it. Kind of similar actually to the Super Shock shadows from Colourpop. We'll talk about those in a second. But look at that color. And it just has this really lovely sparkle to it, kind of a fine glitter. So I personally find that these are wearable for like, every day. They're not going to leave you with like a ton of really chunky glitter. So this, again, it's been a favorite of mine for quite a long time. I do feel like as far as these ones versus like my original that I had, I feel like there might be a slight difference, like just texturally. Like these do feel almost like even smoother, but it's kind of negligible if that. So that's why I say that these are pretty much the exact same formula as the old packaged ones. And then I also wanted to share buttercream as well. This is just straight glitter. There's not really like much of a base pigment to it, but you can see it's still quite squishy. So that's why, in my opinion, shades like this aren't typically my absolute favorite, just like pure white glitter, just because I feel like they can kind of go flat. I do prefer like a little bit more of like a champagne. It doesn't actually have as much reflection as you would think it would. It just, there's not enough contrast there for the sparkle to really pick up on my skin. So yeah, those are the two shades of the Ulta Bouncy Cream shadows. There's obviously more, but my personal favorite is still the shade Italian Ice. So I can definitely give my stamp of approval to this one. I love how affordable they are. Love that Italian Ice shade is just kind of an everyday one and done eyeshadow. Now that we're on the topic of glitter, I wanted to talk about these Moira Lucent cream eyeshadows. I haven't pulled these out in a while. I used to have more shades, but these are the two shades that I have held on to, which are Infinity and Jupiter. So let me give you guys a swatch of both. Now you can see kind of a similar vibe to the Ulta Bouncy Cream shadows. It has almost like that slight wet texture, but these are kind of insane as far as the glitter and pigment. So these are less geared towards like an everyday eyeshadow and more geared towards like high impact and glitter. This is again the shade Infinity, and I've really loved this shade. It has almost a touch of like a green to it, beigey and champagne, but then there's that little bit of almost a green to it that is so cool. Now these, as far as the formula goes, I really love the shine. I think that the shades are also really interesting, but you're gonna need a base with these, not for fallout, but because they'll crease pretty quickly. So I'll share with you guys in a second some of my affordable favorites as far as that goes. But now the shade Jupiter. Jupiter is pretty insane, guys. It's somehow even creamier than Infinity. Like the formulas do vary slightly, but look at that. So this shade has a really, really cool kind of duochrome quality to it. It's much warmer, so it's kind of like it has a little orange, it has a little red, it has a little green, a little blue. So if you really like to play with glitter and want a really affordable way to almost like an affordable glitter topper to put onto other looks, these I think would also work really well in that realm because they do sheer out. It's not like you can only get this one look with these. They will kind of mix with whatever else you put on them because of the texture. You see how I can kind of like sheer it out and just get that wash of glitter? So they do have some more flexibility to them. Moira is just one of those brands that I think more people need to talk about. I actually have another Moira product that we'll talk about soon, but yeah, I really, really enjoy these eyeshadows when I'm going for something more fun. Now, for everyday, again, it's not like my go-to, but as far as like really beautiful wet impact with really interesting colors, that's when I would go to Moira. That's what I think of when I think of Moira. But let's talk about some more kind of staple, sophisticated one and done cream eyeshadows. Now, if you saw one of my recent dupe videos, then you would know that these half-caked liquid shadows, in my opinion, are a dupe for the Armani eye tints. They're really, really lovely, everyday kind of one and done eyeshadows. So I wanted to share with you guys some of the shades that I have. So I'm really happy to like share this little hidden gem with you guys. So this is the Taste of Ink. This shade is so gorgeous. I mean, that is perfect. One and done, swipe on the lids, blend, and go out the door. Like that kind of shade is also going to look so beautiful on very fair skin as like a more smoky eye, but for like more medium tone skin tones, deeper skin, this is just that perfect quick out the door shade. It's just so beautiful. Now, Deja Endu, this has, I believe, more green to it. Yeah, God, that is gorgeous. And the texture of them, they're again a liquid, but they set down eventually, but they give you enough time to really play and work with them. Now, you can see these are more metallic, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I like metallic, but I feel like some metallics go very flat once they're on the eyes. Like they mix with concealer that is already on your eyes, and then they're just kind of like meh. They're just like bland color. They can kind of look dry. These are not that. They still remain really reflective and have that, they look creamy. And that's what I look for as far as my cream eyeshadows. Beating Heart Baby, this is one of my, not, it's not my favorite, but I will give you guys a swatch. So that, yeah, these aren't shades that I typically go for. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not like poorly performing or anything like that. It's just, this is not something that I reach for quite a lot. I would rather go with like a wet glossy champagne than a cream metallic champagne. However, hands down, is absolutely beautiful. And as you guys probably know by now, these shades, these kind of like taupey one and dones, these are really kind of my thing. So that hands down shade is my favorite, but the selection is really, really lovely. Very nice, neutral, again, very like sophisticated one and dones. If you've been looking at the Armani eye tints and you've been wanting to pick up maybe one of the, more metallic ones, I would say check these out first to see what you think, because look at those. Shades are just freaking fantastic. Really, really love these. So let's go ahead and talk about some matte shadows to use as kind of like eye bases. I'll kind of share with you guys what I do. So as far as matte liquid eyeshadows, so you guys can see this was the old packaging. These are from Ulta. They're the matte cream eyeshadows. This is the new packaging. Now, I believe they still have the same shades that they used to have. This is the newest one to me. I wanted to make sure that the formula was the same. And this is the shade Hey Sunshine. So I'm going to give you guys swatches of all of them. And as I'm doing that, I'm going to explain how I would use these. So First up, we have Game Over. This has been a shadow that I've literally talked about for years on my channel because it's just a perfect crease shade to set everything. So what I would do with a shade like this is I would put it either all over the lid to set my entire lid if I'm worried about creasing or if I want to make everything last long, or I'll just take this into the crease because that's where I'm going to have the most creasing. And it also acts as like this really lovely transition. So taking a matte shadow that's going to kind of lock everything in, add a little bit of definition, a little dimension is, in my opinion, my favorite way to get more longevity out of my cream eyeshadows or even my powder eyeshadows. But there are so many bad matte eyeshadows out there, like an insane amount. And can I just say, as I'm walking you through like some of these affordable options that I really enjoy, just know for every one that I recommend, there is, I'm not even kidding, probably at least 3 or 4 that I hate. Almost always do not like a lot of affordable cream eyeshadows because brands just, it feels like they come out with cream eyeshadows just to say that they came out with them. And because the market is trending that way, but they're just bad. So now this is the shade, what shade is this again? Hippie, or it's Flower Child. That one has pretty much dried out, but it'll at least give you, this is like my OG one. It'll at least give you an idea of the color. It's more pale, slightly pinkier, definitely like a little bit of purple too. But yeah, it's not my favorite just for my skin tone, but I just wanted to give you guys a swatch anyway. This one I love as well, Vintage Beauty. Vintage Beauty has a little bit more depth to it for like cool tone lovers. I have a feeling you'll really enjoy this one. And you could absolutely use just like Vintage Beauty on its own as like a one and done. And then, or even, you could go ahead and take something like, you know, one of the Ulta Bouncy Cream shadows and then top it with this, and it's just gonna last all day, really lock in. So those are the 3 like OG shades. Now let me share with you the new packaging. This is the shade Hey Sunshine, and I really like this shade. It's definitely more warm than I typically go for, but I love the actual texture. I find that even if it's a little bit more warm than I go for, I still reach for it because the formula is just that good. And again, I have quite a few of these like liquid matte shadows that I like from pretty expensive brands. Having said that, they are like, you know, double the price. So if you do want a good affordable option, Ulta makes an absolutely great matte cream eyeshadow. Now, Ulta also makes some not so great makeup. So if you guys want me to do another Ulta overview, it's been a few years since I've done that. I would be happy to do that. So just leave me a comment if you're interested. But yeah, so I really enjoy these. We'll talk about some more matte options in a second, but as far as liquid matte shadows, very budge proof but blendable, I love these. Now, these next eyeshadows are pretty iconic for good reason. They are the Colourpop Supershock shadows. Now, these are actually the same shade. We'll talk about this shade in a second. I'm sure some of you already know what that is, but these are the other 2 shades that I reach for the most. I have tried out a lot of Colourpop eyeshadows, and I've obviously done decluttering, and these are the ones that I was just reaching for the most, so I wanted to just keep these. But this shade, Adaptogen, is really cool. I'm actually almost tempted in my travel makeup palette video, which I'm hoping I can get that up before I leave for my upcoming travel, but I'm almost tempted to put this into my travel palette because look, it had already come out from here, so it would be really easy to stick in there. But other than that, I just love it for the actual shade and the texture. So Adaptogen is like this really cool, smoky, grungy green. It has an edge. It's just, it almost reminds me of some of these shades from like Chantecaille, Sicily, This looks expensive as far as the shade, as far as the texture, how it looks on the eyes. Actually, I used to have a Chanel ombre shadow that was very, very similar to this. I want to say it was the shade Sublime, but maybe I'm mistaken. Either way, this looks expensive. This is luxury without the luxury price point. So Adaptogen from Colourpop is absolutely a favorite. I'm hoping they still have this shade. Colourpop does this thing where they come out with so many shades, so many products all the time that by the time you run out of your product and you go to repurchase, it's gone. So it can be a little bit frustrating in that way, but just know that, yeah, I am a big, big fan of this shade. This shade is another one of those shades that just gives you insane payoff very quickly. It's the shade Plume from Colourpop. You can see this, it really depends on the shade that you choose, what kind of texture it's going to give you, or I'm sorry, what kind of finish. So Adaptogen is one of the ultra metallics, but this is one of the ultra glitters. You can't really see it there, but it's an ultra glitter. And then these, which I'll talk about in a second, is also an ultra glitter. So these have more glitter to them. This is just more of that like smooth kind of metallic, which I like that Colourpop is offering different finishes within the same kind of formula. But let me share with you guys this. Anyone that loves glossy pinky purples, take note because Plume is that girl. I mean, it just never gets old to me how fantastic that looks. And I love it because there's something still somehow like really wearable about this one to me. Maybe it's because it still feels like somehow neutral or more neutral than some of the other shades that I have in my collection with this kind of texture. But yeah, so there it is. Again, as you get something creamier like this, it's going to crease a little bit faster than, say, Adaptogen. But again, just go with a really basic shade, a matte shadow to set everything. Put this on top, and it's going to last and give you a lot of longevity. This is a really, really good one. Again, I'm really hoping that they have all these in stock, but those two are absolute favorites. But then we have these, which is the same shade. They are both, as a lot of us already know, Ritz. Now, this has been one of my favorite cream shadows of all time, drugstore, affordable, and luxury. Like between everything, just it's cream of the crop no matter how you spin it, even if I'm not looking at price point. Yeah, it's just fantastic. And it's a fan favorite in my opinion because it just gives you the most wet, glossy effect. And it kind of, for me, goes with everything because it kind of shears out. It has a little bit more of that translucent base pigment. It's gonna kind of go with so many different looks. You can tap it on more sheerly, just with like, again, like I could just tap it sheerly onto Adaptogen and get like a wet, glossy, nude shadow. It kind of transforms and it's this little shape-shifting product that makes any eye look better, in my opinion. Like most eye looks are going to look good or even better with Ritz on top. And yeah, I just love the shade as well. So this kind of shade looks very neutral on me. I've heard that some people find it to be a little bit warmer on them. So, if you do have more of a cool undertone, probably something to keep in mind. As a lot of you already know, this is a pretty close dupe to Space Cowboy, at least with the shade. It's not the exact same kind of texture as the Moondust shadows, but it'll give you the same vibe. So I just want to take some and put it on top of Adaptogen so you guys can see what I mean about it being kind of like a shape-shifting product. So do you see how now Adaptogen is like kind of wet looking, whereas before it was just metallic? Yeah, it has that ability to like turn any eyeshadow into that really wet, cool look. Yeah, like look at that now. It's really cool. I will always recommend these. I just think that they are such a lovely, inexpensive formula. 3 cheers for the Colourpop Supershocks. Next, let's talk about the NYX Jumbo Sticks. So, one of my favorite shades from this line has been the shade I'm sorry, iced mocha for such a long time because it's just, again, a really lovely one and done, get out the door shade. So I still love this one and I highly recommend it if you just want that kind of like satiny one and done shade that is gonna kind of go with everything. Great for like just scribbling on the eyes before work and then leaving. I love this one, but there are some shades within the NYX Jumbo pencils that I don't like. So I'm gonna first talk about the ones that I like. So I've had good luck with the matte shades personally. I love the white one. I think it's always good to have a white like cream eyeshadow on hand. It's really good for like highlighting, good for mixing and making other colors lighter. I also just really like that it's in a stick form. Like this one is just really easy to use for me. So I like to kind of pop it into my inner corner. I'll clean up any lines under like eyeliner, for example. I've also used this like literally on the face as a highlight before, just kind of like more underpainting technique. Again, I really like the white shade. I forget what this one's called. It's called Milk. Same thing with the dark brown. Dark brown has been a great shade for me to do like a winged liner. So I'll take a little bit of this, like just flick it out on the outer corners of my eyes and then finesse it with a brush and then get more of that, you know, winged look. So three of these have been my favorites. These are the go-tos. These are the ones that I can recommend to you guys. However, I did pick up two that I was really, really excited to have that I wouldn't recommend. So I wanted to quickly mention those because, you know, within every line, not every shade is amazing. So this is Vanilla Ice Cream. I swatched this on my hand and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get that. It's so, so sparkly and beautiful. On the eyes, it just goes so, so flat, which was a bummer because I thought this could be like a really nice, affordable, like more wet looking cream eyeshadow, but unfortunately it did not pan out that way. And then the lemon meringue shade, I thought same thing. It was going to be that kind of really glossy looking metallic on the eyes, and again, it looked really, really flat. So these are two of the newer ones that I picked up, newer shades. These are like old standbys. I'm hoping they still have these shades. You know, I'm gonna leave details down below for you guys, but I can say these like neutral shades up here, iced mocha, milk, and dark brown I like, but these two glitter shades, I just didn't do it for me. I think that they went a bit flat on the eyes. And that's a problem that I was telling you guys about, how some, even, you know, expensive eyeshadows can do that too. Not all formulas really like look really creamy and reflective on the eyes, and those unfortunately for whatever reason don't. Now this little eyeshadow is a beautiful, beautiful affordable cream eyeshadow from Novo. This brand is still like new to me. This is the only product I've tried from them, and it is the Keyboard Fingertip Cool Trendy eyeshadow. It is the shade 01. I got this on Yes Style, I believe. This is insane. This is super, super, super glittery. So just be aware that if you want like a really smooth eyeshadow, you know, with not a lot of chunky glitter to it, this is probably not for you. I mean, you can even see the kind of texture within the pan, how it is a little bit looser. There's just a little more chunk to it, but it's lovely. And look at how it looks like on the skin, how it goes very creamy. It just has a really nice glide to it. It's similar to like the Supershock shadows, but I would say even more similar to the Moira. And look at how reflective it is. I would say with this one, for me, I have found less is more. Take a little bit on the finger like that, tap it on, and you will get impact. You don't really need a lot. You don't need to take a big fingerful like I just did. I just wanted you guys to be able to see the color, but yeah, it is insane as far as like metallic eyeshadows go. I would love to try out other shades from them just to kind of see what this brand is all about, but this has definitely been one that I have enjoyed. I believe they're a Chinese brand, I want to say. Maybe when I head over to Japan and Korea, I am able to see more of this brand and kind of get a vibe for them. So if I pick up anything, I will let you guys know. Now, these are some eyeshadows from Sydney Grace. I haven't pulled these out in a while, but I wanted to give them another spotlight because I think that they are so cool. This line, this is an indie brand. They really have a lot of different shades, and I have 4 here. I have Cliff Jumping, which is more like neutral, purple taupey kind of shade, which you guys know I like. This is why this is like probably my most used out of all of the shades I have. Then we have some of like the crazier shades. This is, where is this? This is My Bond. Kind of similar, I would say, to like these more like duochrome eyeshadows. And it's very, very, very metallic. And it's just going to give you really intense shine. And these last really well for being, I believe, water-based. Let me see. Yeah, they're like water-based. And it's just insane to me how long they last. Then I also have Boardwalk. And I think I'm going to declutter this one just because this is not like a shade that I typically go for. It's a really beautiful gold though. And that's why I want to declutter it, because I just feel like this could be a beautiful everyday shade for like one of my friends. Like there's definitely, I have a friend who would love that. So I do want to declutter that one. And then lastly, we have Babe, which Babe's more smoky, I believe. Yes. And a little bit more cool toned. And the texture of it like makes it look wet in and of itself, but these are more metallic. They don't really have like very particular wet sparkles within them. They last so well. Again, insane pigment. You get a lot in here as well. I haven't checked on their website if they've changed like the packaging or anything, so I don't know. I haven't checked back in on this brand since I purchased these, but I still have really liked them. Yeah, I would definitely want or be interested in trying out more from Sydney Grace because these have really, really impressed me. Next, we have the Flash Fluorescence Cream Eyeshadow from Phytosurgence. This is their Starlight Symphony shade. And this kind of shade is absolutely up my alley. So if you guys are familiar with like the Revlon Color Stay eyeshadows, I feel like the texture is pretty similar in the Phytosurgence eyeshadows. This shade is so pretty. You do have to kind of break open the seal at the top a little bit when you swatch them or when you first get them, but they have really pretty shine and they last a little bit longer than some other eyeshadows out there. In my opinion though, they're more metallic than they are super wet looking, but I don't mind it. I think that they have this really elegant kind of quality. They're really pretty for like for every day. And last but not least, I wanted to give a shout out to the Moira Diamond Days liquid shadow. So this is in Top Notch. And you know, I wanted to give you guys an option for a glitter shadow that was affordable and liquid. So like more of like a almost liquid glitter kind of product. And I really like this one. You can see like I'm just going to do kind of a swatch and a line for you, but this is probably best applied like tapped on, but it almost kind of works as like a glitter liner. I feel like you could just have a lot of fun with these. They have a bunch of different shades. Some are more straight glitter, some have more like, you know, actual base pigment to them. This one I feel like could be really pretty like on the inner corner of the eyes, just for like that pop of color and glitter. So yeah, I would love to try out more from Moira. Some of their liquid shadows, the matte ones, I haven't quite been as impressed with, but I would be willing to try out more. I know this brand has like a lot of products. They've really come out with launches like back to back to back, it feels like. And that was some of my favorite affordable cream eyeshadows. I hope that you guys did enjoy the video. Let me know down below what your favorite affordable cream eyeshadows are. I had a lot more favorites, but a lot of mine kind of got discontinued in the last few years, which was kind of bizarre to see. I would love to see more drugstore brands come out with cream eyeshadows and really step up their formulas, because really there are a lot of bad ones. But again, these are some of my favorites. I'll leave links down below to all the ones I talked about today. Thank you guys again for being here, and I will see you in my next one.